What's going on, guys? Welcome to another live stream session. If you're watching this as a playback, thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. My name is Phrankleen. I'm the brain behind these platforms. If you can hear me, you can see me, smash the like button. Smash the like button so we can gain traction, all right? So, as I said, if you're watching this for the first time or stopping on the channel for the first time, this is story time. Story time is basically a segment where people send me their stories via my email. Actually, if you're watching me and you didn't know this, if you have any trending topics, it might be global trending topics, might be personal stories, I make you anonymous, okay? So send it to foodchannel1960 at gmail.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, look in the video description below. You will find my contact details. If you're on Instagram, follow me at Phrankleen, the same way it's spelled on my YouTube channel. Just follow me on Instagram. You can also follow me on Twitter at Phrankleen, okay? DM me, send me links of any trending topics that's worth, talking about and stuff. I don't really do gossips, okay? But just sort of trending topics that we can all benefit from. Right. So this one is one of the stories that people emailed to me. This one basically, if you can watch, if you can hear me, you can see me, smash the like button, all right? It's basically was sent to me by somebody said, "Hi, Phrankleen. Can you react to the Meghan and Harry interview?" I actually would love to react to that, but the interview is basically going to be on TV tonight at 9 o'clock UK time. So after the live stream, I'm going to get off the live stream pretty soon so I can get myself ready. I'd love to watch it so I can take notes, I can have my own observation, and then we can talk about it. All right. So I'm definitely going to do something about the Harry and Meghan, trending topic. So yeah, excuse me. So yeah, FD cakes. I hope that's clear. All right. So this today's story, all right, is basically by a gentleman who watches my channel. Okay. So this happened between himself and his wife. It's basically left a major crack in their relationship. So I thought, why not? Let's talk about it. Hopefully we can learn something from it. Now, these couples been married for X number of years. What's up, Yewande? What's going on? How's a coffee? What's going on, everybody, man? Good to see you. So they've been married for X number of years. They've got children. They've got children and stuff. Now, what happened was these lady, right? It's from a family of about five children. All right, so she happens to be the firstborn child. Now, the couple met from back home in Africa, particularly in Nigeria and stuff, and they both came here. At the time, they had no kids, so they came here and kind of pulled through the system. Anyway, eventually they got married. All right, they have two lovely children and all that stuff. Now, let's talk about tradition now. So some of you can relate to this. These, by the way, before I crack on, if you didn't see my live stream with the wonderful Kenyan sister called Wyrish, it's the second time she's going to contribute on my channel. All right, please go and watch yesterday's live stream. It's absolutely fantastic. All right, go and watch it and make sure you share it with your friends and all family. All right, it's a beautiful live stream. I mentioned today's live stream during that live stream that I was going to talk about this topic anyway. So yeah, these couple, they carried on, living their lives and all that stuff. And now the brother said before this particular incident, his wife has always been that sort of person who, however much they try to, do things together as a couple, she basically tries to conceal things and doesn't really put her cards on the table. So, for example, an example that he gave me is they could sit down and agree that, babe, we're going to buy this particular brand of TV, right? We're going to take this X amount of money, maybe contribute money together and say, these TV, these particular version, yeah, she's going to look at him dead in the eyes, agree to everything, the amount they're going to spend, the version or the model of the TV, and then she might then just go behind his back and take all the money and go buy a totally different model of TV without his knowledge or consent. You know, like it's totally different if you take your personal money and I wanted to buy this black top. Now, if I take my money and I go buy this black top, that's my money, right? I don't need anyone's consent to buy. In the process of buying, if my missus kind of looks at me and says, "Oh, why don't you buy the gray colored one? That looks better on you." If I just okay, I gravitate towards her choice. I might become, but if I really want to buy the black one, that's my choice. But if say we were like a sort of like a joint project, and we sort of sat across the table and we had conversation, and we both agreed that okay, we're going to do this. We're going to pick the black color of this. We're going to spend X amount of money. Of course, and both parties have agreed. It would be totally disrespectful for the other party or one of the parties to go behind the back of the other one and then make the whole thing about your own, personal decision, and you change the plan completely without the knowledge and or consent of the other party. These can lead to a catastrophic, argument and leave cracks in, friction and whatnot. People do that, a lot, and it's even a lot worse, it's a lot more deadly when you have someone whereby they have these as a clear-cut behavioral pattern. Some people are like that. They cannot, and then that makes the other party starts to think about, the diminishing level of trust in the relationship because you're basically are not trustworthy, right? So anyway, this partner, this man said his woman, she would cry me a river. She'd always have 1,001 explanation ready in the handbag to sort of justify, baby, it's not so, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. I suspect, while she's pleading, she'd have placed abundance of sugar wall on the brother, and then of course the whole anger would go down the drain. But then it comes to a point where the brother has to put his foot down. That look, man, you're quite manipulative and trying to shut me up with the crocodile tears and abundant supply of sugar walls and in hoping to constantly get away with it. No, stop it. So I can enjoy access to the same sugar wall without being manipulated, if that makes sense. So anyways, as I was saying, there's been several episodes. This is what I'm saying. You should definitely know your partner's behavior. I don't care how people try to sugarcoat things or try to brand it, right? When you see someone who is blatantly dishonest and stuff like that, you would know the handwriting, whatever habit someone has got, there's always handwriting on the wall. It's just a matter of what do we do about it? Do we play, do we feign ignorance, or do we just, let it slide and stuff? And then when you allow people to get away with things like that, particularly if it's connected to trust, it waits for you at the bottom end of the line and causes a major problem. So anyways, as I was saying, this brother said they've had several episodes like that where there was a time when he put X amount of money, like £1,600. They were meant to use it for renovation in the house. He had to travel out of the country. So, and he trusted his woman and gave her the money. 1,600 was part of a project. They had to do a renovation to do with their kitchen and the conservatory part of their house, right? So he said for that project, his wife only contributed about 15%. He didn't mind. He gave the rest, about 85%, right? And then they already agreed in terms of design, what they were going to do. They had a meeting with the workman, artisan that was going to do the work and, provide the service and all that. So he had to travel, right? So he traveled overseas. And then when he came back, he met a totally different design and outcome. So he was raging. And the wife wasn't at home at the time when he arrived from the airport. He rang the builder that came to do the project. And the guy, it was a white guy, and the guy said, mate, your missus said XYZ. She said, you guys, yes, I know I had a meeting with you, but she then called me and said, oh, you guys said you wanted this instead. And all I did was delivered, as I was instructed and stuff like that. You can put on. So the guy knew straight away. He put down the phone, led to another argument, and the excuse was, what's wrong with it? I just felt this is better. So they've had this multi-layered type of, arguments and disagreements because of this woman's manipulative nature. So now, fast forward to not too long ago, her dad died. They brought the news to them. Dad's back in Nigeria. He's elderly, just of natural curses, natural cause, what was it? Yeah, natural cause. There was nothing natural cause. There was nothing else to it. He passed away. He's an elderly man. Okay, they broke the news. It was devastating for herself, and everyone involved. That's the man's father-in-law, right? And then, okay, so now, then there is the family-related pressure of, you know how they do, man. This is what I've talked about this separately about the toxic culture. There's always the so-called elders back home that, as soon as somebody dies, they congregate, and then these certain persons, they start to dish out instructions to the children of the dead. They always, yeah, this is our tradition. This is how the death, process is meant to go, blah, 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 blah. And especially the monetary side of things, they start to control you. Most of the time, there are some families that they use that the person's demise as a means of extortion. And so the long story short, because she's here, she's the firstborn, four other siblings back home. They then start putting this pressure on her. Iwola Kobi, you're the firstborn child. We need X amount of millions to do blah, 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 blah. So husband said at that time, now watch this, check this out, right? At that time, because of certain things that they had gotten involved in, they were a bit stretched with finance, within the confines of the marriage. She didn't have money because she was out of work, for some time. She had just gotten back into a new role, okay, when her dad died, unfortunately. Now, they started hounding her, asking for, if you can see me, you can hear me, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the bell button, and select um, select the bell button and the all option. All right, just give me a second, man. So they started hounding her, asking for money. So husband said he sat with his missus and said, look, man, I have, now check this out, I have a bit of X amount of money, the way we are right now. What is it that, he didn't want to take a front out of respect. He didn't want to take the front seat in terms of all the arrangements and stuff going on. So he sat with his wife and said, hey, man, I've only got X amount of money saved. I can give you this and this and this. Tell them this is what you have. Let your four other siblings also contribute. The whole idea of you being the firstborn, and then because you live abroad and all that stuff is emotional blackmail, is unfair. Do not, let them put you under this pressure. He said they had a bit of argument, but he basically just kind of pulled back because she was crying, she was emotional. He didn't want to exacerbate the already clearly ongoing tension. Now, the wife told him that, okay, yeah. So he gave her, according to the email, they the siblings back home were feigning, oh yeah, 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 we're broke. You know what Nigeria is. You know what the economy is saying. He said to me that the immediate sister to his wife is only 3 years gap. She's married as well, got two children. So the husband lost his cool and said, they can't be telling you this crap about because you're the firstborn and because you live abroad. You don't pick money on the floor. Money don't grow on trees. You get the gist, right? Anyways, they it led to a major argument. Somebody insulted this brother. Oh, don't put your mouth into the burial of our father. Blah 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 blah. Oh, they whatever they had inside of them against him, they used that avenue to start mudslinging. And then he said his wife just said, leave them alone and all that stuff. So he said, now check this. He said he gave his wife the sum of £2,000 from his own savings. They didn't have a lot of money, but you know, they always have to do elaborate burial ceremony back home. A lot of you watching this know this. He said to her, tell them that's all you've got. If you convert that with the current rate, £2,000, that's a substantive amount of money. You got there's five of you. And this is what I'm saying. I don't know, from what I gathered, perhaps the parents themselves, they had no savings, they had no life insurance, they had nothing, right? So they put this monetary pressure on the children. Now, he gave his wife £2,000 and she said, she was going to, yeah, of course, based on the current exchange rate, that's way more than a millionaire. Common sense sisters, that's way more than a millionaire. So she said, she was going to do X, Y, Z. And the husband said, okay, cool. So at first, watch this. She was contemplating on going and stuff, but because she had just started the new job, the way, she had just started, was quite sensitive. She fought tooth and nail to get the job, met the top directors of the firm. It meant she just couldn't disappear. She had just literally started a new job. So that made it impossible. But then husband said you could ask and say on the grounds of extenuating circumstance, you lost your father, blah, 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 blah. But she decided that she would let the siblings deal with the burial because she was worried about her daily bread here. And I can understand. Now, husband carried on as normal, thinking the £2,000 said, keep me posted. Let me know what they're saying in your family meetings. We'll see how it goes and stuff. So this woman went behind him, went to two high street banks and got multiple loans, combined of about £18,000. It'll be unsecured loans, right? And she didn't tell her husband. That's basically the premise of this story. He knew nothing. He gave her £2,000. I think that's a good man, right? So for whatever reason, because I'm not in this woman's mind, don't know who she is. She didn't tell him. She approached two high street banks. I suspect she banks with them and took multiple loans, right? And she pulled it off. And the sum of actually the whole figure is roughly 19 grand. And wired a ton of money home. They did an elaborate. So the husband said when he started seeing the video clips of the party, you know how they do back in Nigeria, and then he saw all the elaborate expenditure and how her siblings, he said they had three different fabrics, like, dresses that they changed to and stuff like that. And then he said he sat down, his jaw was literally on the floor, like, what's going on? They changed, there was a lot of money spraying, and then the word that circulated was they killed 3 cows. Wow. You know how big one cow is? They killed 3 cows, to entertain the attendees of the burial. And basically, apparently, they rented like a football, open football pitch in some high school somewhere in their town. So his wife and her siblings had one side of the field with their names. Some other families had their names. Everybody flexing, during that's what they do. Is very common. Nigerians know what I'm saying, man. Now, somebody said that's about 500. Do you know how much they sell cows? Depending on what your budget is and how big the cows are. There are cows that go to about a naira, 1.5 million naira, 2 million, even 3 million per cow. If people really want to get elaborate, trust me. So the man said, thanks to social media and a lot of WhatsApp videos, particularly, and he was shocked. And then he was telling his missus, like, yo, I thought your siblings didn't have a lot of money. Like, did someone else within the family tree put down a huge amount of money? Like, he was looking at, he said they sprayed money. There's a lot of drinking and eating. And like I said, change a lot of fabrics. The wife sat here with him, pretended all through. And she said in Yoruba, for those that understand Yoruba language, kó fi yẹ dádì mi náà ni a fi yẹ bàbá sí ilé ni dádì lọ tààrà. Basically, this is to honor the memory of my father, blah, 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 blah. So the dude kept quiet. He said instantaneously he had his suspicions, but he wouldn't have thought. He thought maybe there was someone within the family that might have dropped a huge amount of money, and maybe the wife didn't want to tell him because she didn't want to return maybe it's £2,000. So he kept quiet. He already knew that she's a manipulative woman, but he didn't know. So the burial, the dust settled regarding the burial went past, and that's that. Yeah. And then few months down the line, unfortunately, the new job that she started, due to some top level hierarchy decisions within the organization, they had to clear a bunch of people out that they recently hired several months ago. Unfortunately, she was one of them. They had to let them go for whatever decisions within the organization. So she lost her job, right? And because you would know somebody who took out a nearly £20,000 loan, she would, thank you, awesome. Oh, thank you for the super chat. She would have been servicing the loan, right? And I'm sure that's on top of whatever outgoings they already have and the monthly bills, blah, blah, blah. So he said she came home crying. She was frustrated. And then he said, don't worry about it, man. It's fine. We'll make do with my own wage and stuff, whilst you're looking for something else. But she was restless. And then anyway, so he didn't know nothing. And then there was one day, husband had to work from home. She was away from home, with the kids. He said normally when they get letters, like they're couples, most couples do this. My missus can open my letter. I can open my missus' letter, but it's not like you're really trying to be intrusive or running after your partner's mail or, what's that letter she's got? No, like if I have a bank statement in the post, my wife can open my bank statement, I can open her letters, and stuff like that. We've been together for quite some time. So, and we're quite comfortable around each other. It's only when the dark side of human nature kicks in, when you find a justifiable reason to conceal something, when there is a dark reason behind it, that's when we start to activate the dark energies in our mind and start to find ways to, hide a particular document. You get the gist. So anyway, the man said he was just at home. The postman came to the door, letter came in, boom. And then as you do, you go, you pick up your mails. So he saw a particular envelope that just made him a bit curious. He had opened 1,000,001 letters of his wife in the past. It could be to do with driving. It could be to do with just normal bills and stuff. No issues. There's never been a problem. So he saw a particular envelope and it looked a bit strange, right? So the long and short, he opened it. One from one of the banks, asking for, talking about how to have defaulted, blah, 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 running to 3 months now on the loan for roughly 3 months now. And then, whoa, holy moly, roughly 10 grand. And then, dude, you can imagine the shock. Like, 10 what? Rummaged through the other mails. And then he said they have a place in the bedroom upstairs that they normally keep like important letters. They have like a box in the bedroom. So he ran upstairs to the bedroom, he rummaged through everything, and he found letters that exposed the other loan. So when you add both amounts that she took out, it's roughly £19,000. And that's excluding the bank's interests combined. So you can imagine how, and he said for one of them, she took out the loan for about 5 years, unsecured loan. Dude said it felt like a tsunami in his belly. He was confused because he looked at it like, this has got to be a bad dream. So he started looking through the documentations and stuff around the house. And then he saw the reason, some of the paperwork, the reason the wife had given one of the banks and why she's taken out the loan, which was in fact a lie, about something makeover to do with the property, which was a lie anyway. So he waited. Yeah, thank you, Rita. You're looking at roughly 30 grand with interest combined, close to that. So he said the missus came home. The brother waited for children to eat and they got into bed and they pulled her up on it. And at first, surprisingly, she exploded, got defensive. Why are you looking through my letter? And the guy said, what? Why am I looking through your letter? She basically yapped away. Of course, it's nerves, she's been exposed and she just exploded and said things that she couldn't say. Got animated and the guy lost his cool and then it became explosive. What did you take out £19,000 in loan for? So eventually she said, that's in Yoruba. Basically, it was for dad's burial. Because I'm the firstborn. I didn't want to be put to shame. Because the family were saying this, were saying that. I'll pay it off. Blah 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 blah. So the dude said, and I gave you £2,000, my money that I worked for, that I saved as my wife. You took it from me, and you pretended like everything was fine. So that explains the lavishness that I could observe in all the videos that were sent from your peers, your siblings, dressing elaborate manner and spraying money and all that stuff. And from my understanding, he said some of the so-called elders, these toxic culture, this is why I talk about it. And when elders were in my Jembo, these toxic elders that always gather themselves during the course of burials, right? Don't get it twisted. A lot of them will get paid in the process of, they will be the ones to bill you and be telling you X amount of money must be paid. You must bring X amount of money. You must do that. You must do that. In the process, they would unscrupulously line their respective pockets. It's very common. You get the gist, right? So, of course, thank you, House of Coffee. It's serious betrayal. So this guy said, man, bro, everything came to a halt. It led to a major argument. Anyways, where the brother is right now is he said to me that, Phrankleen, people are begging me, they're saying this, but he said, I can no longer trust this woman. I have a deep feeling inside of me that she's capable of doing something worse. Said, she said, oh, it's because she's the firstborn. And her rebuttal is, well, I'm not asking you to pay it. At the end of the day, it's my debt. And he's thinking as a family. If I'm, think about it. I'm in a relationship with a missy. If I have a mountain of debt hanging on me, you do things like that. You're manipulating. You can't even work with your partner. And the argument is, oh, shut up, because it's it's to bury my dad so I don't lose face because I'm the firstborn. So there's nothing you can do about it. That's somebody individualizing themselves clearly within the confines of their relationship. And they're already telling you that, mind your damn business. So what do you do then? So brother is devastated and he's looking to get out of the relationship. People are some of people in our community, he did say some so-called pastors and whatnot. I don't even want to hear those ones because most of them are charlatans. And he said some pastors are saying, Joy, Daddy Jiwon. That nonsense. Forgive her. This, you have to work together. Wow. So I want people, I'm going to provide you a link, right? I want to hear from you very briefly. I'm going to provide you a link. Click on the link. What would you do? I don't want us to waffle on and on and on. Okay, let's talk strategically. Because you know what, man? You might have a partner, you might know someone. Why do people do this? This is why I always say, man, regardless of our differences, imperfections, because there are two people cohabiting and all that, people like to invite unnecessary complexity. And I get it. This whole idea of yeah, I can do whatever because it's my father. But realistically, you're not all that. You're a basic earner, and you are in a family. You tarnish your credit. You have a mountain of debt. You concealed it from your husband. And then you went to take debt, not even a good debt, to try to invest or set up a good business that would hopefully bring you returns, but to lavish on a burial ceremony. And this is what I'm saying about people that allow emotional blackmail, all this toxic culture to govern their lives. If you got parents, no disrespect to anybody, it's just advice, you don't have to take it. That they've not done enough to put XYZ amount of money for themselves. They don't have life insurance. They have no investment. They have no assets that you can convert to money should they die tomorrow. Thank you, Chigo, for the super chat, right? They have no asset. They have no investments that you can quickly convert to money to fund their funeral. They are hoping that their children adopt a truckload of debt simply because they've left. I think it's a cowardly behavior. Because if you pass through this planet and you've lived for donkey years and you just inundate your children with all of these, the only legacy you leave behind is how to adopt lifelong, life-shattering debt. You leave no asset to cater for your own funeral. You have no money, you have no savings. This is what I'm saying about all of these people. You know what? Even in the worst case scenario, okay, they died, they didn't leave anything behind. A basic, very simple funeral that wouldn't have hurt your pocket would suffice. Because I'm talking hypothetically, if I was broke and somebody click on the link, let me put the link again, please. Come and talk to me, man. Somebody has the Twinkie G. Can you please re-click the link because it's showing that there's an error? Click on the link. Come and talk to me, please. If I had a partner that was able to support me, I'll be grateful. Prime rose tile. You're not connecting. It's saying you need to connect your mic and cam before I can add you. Connect your mic and camera. Prime rose. Click on the link, please. Let somebody come and talk to me. I want to hear from you. Why is it that you cannot simply just cooperate with your partner? Right, let's see. Nicholas, what's going on, brother? Hello? That's disappeared. What's going on with you people's connections, man? Click on the link. Come and talk to me, man. What I keep discovering from the truckload of stories that people are sending to me is there's a bunch of adults that just can't say no, particularly within the African, diaspora. There's a lot of us, man, and it's heartbreaking. A lot of us are emotionally, mentally and emotionally changed down by the people that gave birth to us. A lot of us are changed down. People can't say no. Hello, Michelle. Hello.
Hi, Phrankleen.
Hi. Go on.
Hey. So this is really heartbroken, and I'll just dive into this. Like, if this was my spouse, I know it's very hard to make a decision on divorce, but there is lack of trust here, and this is someone who can really empty your bank account. And many people might disagree that this debt will only affect the woman, but what I know is if you two are married, your debt has a way of transferring to your spouse. For instance, I've been in a relationship where my partner gave me his debit, no, a credit card,
Right.
but it was maxed out, and that affected my credit score, and I dropped down by 100 points. So I immediately called that company, the credit card company, and said, "Get me out immediately, get me out." And it took like a month for that credit score to heal back to the original um, figures. So I don't know, for many people, if you're dating someone, it's very important to understand how they respond with money.
Hmm.
I'm not just saying divorce, because for me, I had to break up with this person. Because no matter how you think you would fix it, if they don't understand money, debt, earnings, and all these kind of things, you're not going to go nowhere, and it's going to affect you as a family, you as a person, and your future.
Hmm.
Like, our community is so buried in this ideology of funerals. I have this argument a lot, but they say, oh, that is who we are. We like to celebrate. If we don't do this, it feels like you've not buried your loved one right, and all
That's
that.
not that's not who
But
we are, man. Thank you for saying that. That's not who we are.
frankly, I don't know about you or your community, but it's big in our own country, in
Oh,
Cameroon.
trust me,
And
trust me. It's bigger in Nigeria. Believe that. Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Cameroon.
All right, great stuff. We're
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah. So people will go length to borrow instead of being realistic and saying, well, this brother left 5 children and we need to raise them, we need to care for them. So if we're going to spend 10 million francs is about $20,000. So if we're going to
Hmm.
spend $20,000, why don't we cut it back to 2 million and then invest in these children? Nobody looks at it that way. Nobody. Everyone wants to go eat and drink, and that's the biggest cost drivers, you know. So hey, I don't know this brother and I don't know this sister. I'm not saying
Let me
I'm
ask you. Let me ask you a quick question before you go.
yeah.
So, if you had a partner, right? I'm talking hypothetically
Hmm.
now, and they did that behind you, to go take a
Hmm.
loan, and like I've explained in the story, what
Hmm.
would be your reaction? What would you do? How would you handle it
I
if
think I,
your partner did this to you? What would you do?
I think I'll wake up from the shock and then take time to recover, because that's very shocking. And I think the big thing here for me would be a divorce. I know many people would say I'm not married and I don't know how that works, right? But I've worked on myself when it comes to finance and learning. I don't have a finance background, but the past 3 years I've done a lot of investing, personal development when it comes to finance and
Great,
accounting.
great.
So when you understand money, finance, investment, and savings, it's going to be heartbreaking to see yourself paying a 20,000 or an 18, so let me just say 20,000 pounds debt
Mm,
that someone took behind my back, not even for an investment for my family, but for a funeral of a parent. So I'm saddled with this loan in the name of I'm married to you, as if I don't have my own, we don't have our own plans. I don't have my own plans for my
mm,
children or for my retirement. I mean,
mm.
we don't even look at retirement.
No.
We probably don't even have a life insurance, you know. So for me, there's just a lot of dishonesty. And if there really isn't good financial responsibility in a marriage or in my marriage, I can't sit there, sadly.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Michelle. Thank you. Mr. Adebayo.
How you doing, brother? What's going
I'm
on,
all
man?
right. So, what do you think about the situation?
That's a very bad situation because I have almost the same thing. I think March last year, my dad died back home. Then I'm here in the US. Then the
Okay.
people, because I'm here, so everybody think they can siphon me, asking me for a lot of things to bring money, this and that. I told them I can't lose my father and lose my money. I can only bury my father, giving him a befitting, a normal way of burying him and let him rest.
Yeah.
He is dead. He's a dead man. He's dead man. You can bring it back to me what I've spent so far. But what I'm going to say in this is this: what the woman did is really really heartbroken to me because when I look at it, a 20 pound can do a lot of business. Even if
Of
you are
course.
buying car in, even if you buy a car in the US and you send it home to sell, you know how many car you can buy with that and sell
I
and
make
make
good profit.
profit.
Yes.
And beside, the husband giving a 2,000 pound, I think with 2,000 pound, they can just cook, still have some money back, do the little stuff. Whoever could get food. If anyone tell you that they did, oh, I didn't receive any food, it's all, just tell them it's finished. There's nothing you
Yeah.
can do about it.
Thank you.
Because the moment you put yourself into the problem, you won't see anybody. You ain't gonna see anyone. People are there to sell you out, to tell you to do this, to tell you to do that. But
And you know,
when the
and you know
problem
what's
comes,
even, you know what's even funny, my brother. You know what's even funny? Most
mm,
of the African parties,
mm,
90% of the attendees don't even know. They're not connected to the
that is
people
what I'm
burying.
saying. That is just it. People want to eat. Okay, like my dad, when he died, I'm here because of the COVID. I can't leave the US. Then everybody want me to buy these. They want to do 7 days. They want to cook. The day he died, first day he died, like 2 days interval, they want akara, they want this. So we've been doing that. I've been spending money. I'm still having a pain that I lost him because I was trying to take him over down here when that thing happened. It was a brief illness and it's just it went down like that. I don't know why the primitive mind, that especially the Yoruba, we are having a big problem. I really appreciate this avenue where you educate our people, how you talk to them, how you let us know what is going on, out there, and let other people to know how to buckle up. The way the Yorubas are thinking sometimes is not good. That is why we are backward. That is why we are backward. The backwardness is too much because of a barrier that can spend 2,000 pounds is a lot of money, man. That's about a million, if I'm not mistaken, or a million plus. I don't know what it is now in the rate.
Yeah.
At least I think by the time you buy a bag of rice, buy two cow, everything will be fine. You won't spend even like maybe 400 or 500,000 naira. So why going extend? She
Oh,
might be sick.
if you look at £2,000, and based on the current
Yeah.
exchange rate. I think about 670 here in the UK. That's about whoa, 1 point something million naira. That's a lot of
So
money.
so if you buy two bag of rice, which I know is just like maybe 30,000 per bag, you buy two, you buy cow, you buy peri peri, and whatever you want to put the ingredients. I don't think you can spend up to 500,000. Maybe the what I'm looking at is maybe she's hiding something because the money might be going somewhere. 19,000 pounds for burial, that's a lot of money, bro.
Bro, I know what you're saying because
That's a lot of money.
you're being honest with the breakdown. But let me tell you, I've seen in my time, I've seen some crazy expenditure on parties. I've actually
Yeah.
gone for like there was a time I went to Nigeria and it was a childhood friend whose his father died somewhere in Nigeria. So they did the burial because the man married like three wives. You know, he had three wives before he
Hmm.
died. So you can
Okay.
imagine polygamous
Yeah,
family,
I got you
and
now. I got you.
they had to hire uh, the football pitch inside a stadium for the reception. Yeah,
Can you
bro,
imagine?
I it got to a point. I remember, like, I went to the toilet in a part of the stadium to ease myself, and I was coming back, and I was lost. The crowd, the
Damn.
different attires. Like, imagine in a burial ceremony, there were like six different bands. You know, bands with their trumpet
Hmm.
playing at the same time. The chaos was
That
too
is
much. There was
stupidity.
different tents. This family, that person is trying to outdo this person, and the chaos was too much.
That is stupidity to me. That is stupidity.
Because why? You know why it was like that? They just couldn't agree to do one simple burial because it's this wife, that person's child, that
That's
person
bad.
is everybody's trying to, and they waste money. And like I was saying,
Unnecessarily.
I don't think this person knows that person. It was just a sea of people wearing different attires. And it's the same thing. For example, I saw a video clip the other day on social media. Somebody burying somebody's father, and they were carrying the coffin, right? And this
Mm.
person is like a popular Nollywood film actor in Nigeria,
Oh,
and they were
okay.
spraying money as they were carrying the coffin on the road. They were spraying money on the coffin, like as they were moving down the street. And I was asking someone, like, why?
That is stupidity. Do you know
And
the funniest part
and
of
I'm
it?
telling you, they walked down like the stretch of the road, roughly about 1.5 to 2 miles. And all the money that they were spraying, it wasn't being picked up. It was just, like random people on the road running across and picking up that.
I'm
And I
trying to
was
pick it up.
looking like, what does that signify though?
Nothing.
It just waste
Nothing.
of resources.
It's
And
a
then they
waste of resources.
justify it by ilelo lo tarara, we are.
You won't be surprised, bro, that the person that died might not even be taken good care of when he was alive. Why they are wasting the money? And another thing is that they have a family members who are suffering, wallowing in poverty, that they can put the money in the spray to assist them. Why will I take my money to be wasting when I have what I want? I'm from a poor family. Why do I say because I have a little one now, so I should now waste it up? When I have younger one, I have the one family extended who I can have help with that money. I don't know
Thank
the
you,
way
brother.
I don't know
I
how people
appreciate it.
behave. I don't know. It's
Thank you, sir.
crazy, man.
I
Thank you,
appreciate
bro.
it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, the Twinkle Gigi.
Hi, Franklin. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. This has made me feel sick to my stomach. Number one, this woman has portrayed a pattern of behavior, right? She's been doing it, whether it's with the TV agreement and she buys a cheaper TV. She's pocketing this money from her husband.
Yeah.
She's developed a pattern of behavior, right? I'm not surprised it led to her taking a huge loan behind his back, right? Because she showed him who she was over and over again. And maybe because of love, because they're married and they have children, he probably downplayed it in his own mind. Now he's at crossroads where she's taken a huge loan like this, which affects his credit because they're married, right? But his options are to pay the loan, stay with her, and close your eyes, knowing that you'll never trust her again, or set yourself free. We have one life. Are you going to spend the rest of your one life with somebody who you cannot trust? Because she's broken his trust, not once or twice. Just at this time, it's in a very, very big way.
This is why I keep saying that some of the fundamental problems that we have in our society, in our community particularly, is religiosity, right? And emotional abuse and emotional, toxic culture, emotional manipulation. Because you see, when you have, like I said earlier, the guy says he's got some pastors and all these religious people telling him, oh, please, you can't. So like you rightly mentioned yourself, how do you carry on cohabiting with someone when the trust is absolutely diminished? How?
Plus, do these pastors lie in bed with you? Do they come home with you? Are they going to pay this loan with you?
Oh, those pastors.
Right?
In fact, do you know what's even funny? Some of these people, whilst you're telling them your ongoing problem, whilst they are there admonishing you or pretending to care, whilst they are about to leave, you are then compelled, as part of the guilt-ridden culture, to say, Pastor, thank you, sir. I really appreciate you. You'll have to dip into your pocket and even part with a bit more money. And they will take it. That's, that's another vicious cycle that goes on.
They will take it because to them it's a business.
Yeah.
Right? They're earning money. You're lining their pockets so they can go feed their children. And the extreme side, they're buying jets with their little money. Right? What will pastor say? What will the family say? Will they pay the loan with you? No. Right? Do they have the rest of their life to spend with this woman? No. So you have to stand on your own and make a decision. Not because it's not hard. It is probably one of the hardest decisions he'll ever make, but he has a future. How will you own properties, fulfill your dreams, leave something for your children if this is the person you're with? When will it happen? Yes, he now has a loan to pay because of what she's done. But how many more will he pay? Will she change? She's already showed herself as who she is. She's done these things enough times. Is she going to change? Or is it old dog cannot be taught new tricks?
Thank you, right? Twinkle. Appreciate you. Thank you. Common Sense Sisters.
Hi, Phrankleen.
Hey, Phrankleen.
What's going on, sisters?
How are you? Share this screen. Yeah, that is okay. Show the three of us.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so when this story, when you were telling it, our heart was just beating. I think when you got to the point where you said the man checked under the bed, we're like, I hope this man is not going to faint. Here's my thing. From the way you told the story, I think that this woman has always been an individualistic person.
Yeah.
So she's always been that person that I think that she's always been that person that no matter any other person's opinion, and unfortunately, those who love her so much are the ones that suffer. Like, for example, the husband. No matter their opinion, what they want to do is in their mind, they will still do it.
Yeah.
So undermining that trust. Now taking that loan just a day for that hot video that you had with Wirish talking about generational wealth. This woman created a well, dug a well hidden for her husband and her children to fall in.
And she pushed them inside in the well of Bese.
Yes,
that's what she did.
How can you undermine your husband's opinion?
After he gave you £2,000
supporting you for everything, how can you do that? That's like killing him now and killing your children. I know you're going to watch the Meghan Markle and the Meghan and Harry stuff today. He made a statement that when the
royal family cut him off, he was surviving on his mother's money that she left for him.
Exactly. So
generational wealth.
Yes, that's what we were talking about yesterday. So why would this woman think
mother left? Just for the records, the amount that the mother had passed on to him when he was a baby, I think it runs to about over £30 million in value. So you can imagine.
So how can this woman just decide that you want to dig a grave for your living children?
On your own.
How can she do that? How can you put your husband in this type of mess?
Especially in this time that we are living in, where everything is uncertain.
Why would people think that outside opinion matters more than your own nuclear family? Why would you think that? What would people say? What I look outside, how I'm going to look outside.
What would they
people
say about
see
the
me?
firstborn? Is that supposed to put bread on your table?
Now this man, I don't know what decision he's going to take, but I hope that the way we're seeing it now is going to affect his mental health. That one is standard. It's going to affect his mental health. Then for the children, this man was not thinking, how can you be so selfish? How can you be so selfish?
You know what's funny, right? You know what's funny? When I read this story, I read it, very long-winded stuff. So I have to, what I tend to do when I see these stories, some of them are like really lengthy emails. And I read. I had to compress it. How do I approach this? I had to cut out some of them. Could you imagine the brother typing out of anger and stuff? But I looked at it. It starts with this toxic culture. You know, this woman has her problems. Of course, everyone agrees with these failings. I'll use myself as an example, and whomsoever that wants to learn one thing from this should please learn. I'm human. Nobody's perfect. But I am at a point in my life that I would die with my no and take it to the grave with me.
With your full chests. Literally.
You see, especially when it comes to families, bias, sentiments, and all of this nonsense. And because I've noticed from my personal experience, and I'm not afraid to say this, right? A lot of us, it's quite prevalent in our wider, Black community. It doesn't even matter if you're Nigerian, if you're Cameroonian, whatever. You find that we are similar, right? You find some people within the family trees, right? Simply because they're older than you, they might be your uncles and all that. They think it's their God-given right to lord toxicity. So it's a case of do as you're told. So a lot of people grew up with this. So this is why if you watch me very well, for those that are familiar with my content, a few weeks ago, I made a content talking about Africa and the lack of critical thinking.
Yes.
A lot of us, a lot of these, that's why these stories, some of you might find it staggering. Maybe you're not Nigerian or whatever, or depending on how you grew up. A lot of people, a lot of us, this is why I tell people, don't confuse somebody going to university because they have a degree or because they work as a solicitor. Because they work as a medical consultant, because they work as a lawyer or civil engineer is totally irrelevant in this context.
Very true.
I have seen a guy that you will see in your place of work. When it comes to being a business analyst, he's bloody good at his craft. When it comes to family palaver, the same man that's good, A+ in his office environment, has no spinal cord. That's why you find a 40-year-old man, a 50-year-old man who is on the edge of even being a grandfather.
Very
a 70-something-year-old mother can still manipulate them. And tell them, why do you want to take your wife on holiday? I'd fly to get
expensive hair.
Why is your wife eating 3 pieces of meat? Why is your this mommy? And you find the justifiable reason to explain to your mother why you need to buy a first-class ticket to take your wife, mother of your children, on holiday. Why? Yeah, because
it's mommy.
Your mother's breast milk is still desperately wet on your lips, and you're 50, you're 40. Now, from my observation, whereby I'm very big on this, my family, I'm talking extended family. I'm seen as a black sheep because I have a code. I can look at anybody. Did you hear what I said? And I mean anybody. I can look at anybody in the face and say my mind. That includes my parents. So this is how I lead my life. Doesn't mean I'm obnoxious. Doesn't mean I go out of my way and I disrespect someone. No, I can take my energy to my mother. I can take my energy to my father. Bang, bang. My grandmother or my uncle, anybody. I can tell my mind. I'm not having this. I'm not having this.
About it. It's like you have to be the same everywhere.
So for people in our community, because you're a non-conformist, I always say it, I exist
outside
outside
the
the box.
box.
Label you as
You're
arrogant,
rude,
you're rude.
no
Name
respect.
every adjective. They will slap you with it.
Let me add something.
What I found is they prefer to keep you down, to manipulate you, exploit you for their own selfish interest.
Very
And that's
true.
why a lot of our people, I've sat in places where I've seen people in family sittings, family gatherings. Fam, you're a grown woman. Just imagine the way the two of you are working hard every day. Some people will sit down and they'll be telling you, because such and such died, you, the two of you, go and bring $1,000. Elder such and such has spoken. Excuse me?
That's insane.
The audacity. I would react positively to, oh, we've lost, a wonderful member of the family. We're donating, money to say bury them and stuff, and everyone's that's fine. That's fine. If I then look in my pocket and I say, depending on who that person is, and I say, okay, you know what, I'll donate maybe £300, maybe on behalf of myself or me and my wife, like that. Or even if I feel like, say, okay, if I'm generous, I have £500 to put on the table.
What's supposed to be done?
Exactly.
But you don't dictate
How to how
What should come out of my pockets?
Another thing is, people will say, oh, they were pressuring this woman from outside. But
Unless you have to accept the pressure now.
another thing is that you have a husband that plans with you. If the people outside in the world, they are trying to attack you and all that, you meet your husband and say, my dear, this is what is going on. How do you think I should plan? We should respond to these people. Are you getting me? You cannot just go and then go and take a debt.
Yeah, this is why I laugh. Sorry to cut you, ladies. This is why I laugh when some people come in here. Phrankleen, are these stories true? I have a feeling you're making.
Nollywood movies have told us these stories before.
If I open some of my emails, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll confess openly today. I say, welcome to Phrankleen. Send me your stories, blah blah blah. You know how I say. Yeah. Sometimes I read some stories. Yeah. My heart shakes. Like I read it and I'm like, boy, how do I even begin to talk about this? I read some stories, it's too toxic. Yeah. Like I struggle, like how do I convert it to
a story?
Sometimes I forget myself and I start to get emotionally attached to the story as if it's me directly human. And these are people's true life stories.
Yeah.
And I respect them for even sending you the email to want to share their own story.
But these occurrences I like, because what really makes, that's why I call this segment Say It Like It Is. When I was going to start this segment, I chose, let me tell you, I chose the hard path. I chose the hard path, meaning I want to bring the inconvenient topics. I see people that say to me, Phrankleen, yeah, I know these things happen. I know these things happen, yeah, but we should not, I know, but we should not talk about them. Why?
Why? In order to make
we are suffering. That's why I always say, if one person, at least one, if one person learns, if one person can think, wow, okay, I've got to do this then.
Yes.
I think I would have done an amazing job. The problem we have in the Black community is we are mentally repressed,
constrained.
We are mentally constrained. We are mentally chained by toxic culture, religiosity, and there is a culture of don't ask questions, don't query.
And what will people say? What will people say has been killing a lot of people.
What would people say? Keep up with the Joneses. Keep your head down. Don't challenge authority. Don't ask questions. Do as you're told. Sorry, why is such and such and such and such? Whoa. Don't ask questions.
What are you asking?
No. I don't think this is wrong. Oh, you're very rude. That person that you are asking questions is,
you know how old they are?
20 years older than you. Yeah, but what has that got to do with the price of bread? I'm not disrespecting them. I'm challenging their thought process, and I need you to clarify. Okay, why? Who are these self-appointed elders that my father has died? They then
rise
say,
up from everywhere, frankly.
go and bring 5 million naira.
Mhm.
It's because we are the elders. And I dare not ask you that, hey, yo, 5 million, not to invest in the hotel business, not to invest in the bakery business, not to invest in agriculture business, or not to take some of that money to help some people who are really
To
needy.
help the people that are still living, how much did they use? The elders, how much did they contribute when that father was alive?
They
Then what
never do. They never
Let
do.
me add one more thing before we leave. I know some people will come and say, who are we to tell her how to bury her father? Of course, wait. Of course, we are not.
Well, this is how I'm going to say. People that have that mindset, they are not the target audience. They can get lost.
No, in advance, they're going.
Wait, don't need to do that. This is what I have to say. And of course, nobody can tell you how to honor or bury
or how to borrow money.
But my thing is this: if you know you want to go the elaborate route, please have your own money,
have your own cash. It's different if you have the money and you're spending it. It's different. Nobody.
If you took your own savings and you went to invest it and save the money and say, this is what I will use to bury my loved one, that's fine.
That's fine.
But to carry igbese
on your husband
and your children,
marital debt, even if the man divorces the woman today, the debt will still be on his head.
And before I leave, let me just say this short thing. So there's a real life story where a young lady got married to this guy. You know, the typical religious thing, so they did not do investigation. People in relationship will not go and do background check to know how much debt their prospective spouse. And you'll be thinking because the person is a high professional and making into X amount of dollars a year, you don't know that you will go and do background check to know how much they have.
You gotta dig.
So this lady married this guy, and 1 year into the marriage, I think the thing crashed. This is why it crashed. When they were about to file their taxes, that's when she found out that this guy is in hundreds of thousands of
only the
IRS. They have the young lady. They have divorced now, and this woman,
she's the one paying the basic.
So if you are there saying he's loving me, she's loving me, I trust him, I trust her, I'm not going to do any background check. I'm not going in this life. You're on your own. That's our own common sense. Thank you so much, Phrankleen.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, sisters. Thank you. Fantastic contribution there. Ijeoma.
Hi, Phrankleen.
Hi.
Can you hear me? How are you?
Loud and clear. How are you?
I'm okay. It's quite interesting and quite lovely what you're doing. Educating our African, those coming from the diaspora. My own point of view on this issue is quite disturbing. But actually, I think a lot of people haven't got the message. They haven't got the message in the sense that when you look at it very well, you have been preaching on this. You have been doing a lot, spending your time, your energy. But let me ask one question. Is it a must? I want to ask the African community online, is it a must for this elaborate burial? Is it a must? It's not a must.
Definitely not.
You ask about the elders. You have spoken with Waris yesterday. I watched that very particular bombastic event.
Yeah.
Yes. The problem we have is, as those ladies also mentioned, so many people are talking online, is this act of we want to show off. That's what I put it. The people living down here, people are struggling. Now this pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs.
Absolutely.
And before you have made a lot of points so many times. I've been following you. You have made it very clear to everyone who has ear to listen. Some of our people who are working here, some of the jobs, majority, maybe 95%, is not it's not much paid. And when they pay all the bills.
Yeah.
Waris or whatever. I'm sorry to pronounce her name wrong. Waris. You made a very good point yesterday by this sort of wealth, this being wasted. The people come down here. No one forced anyone, to go and make elaborate wedding or burial. We're talking about burial this time. This woman taking £18,000. I'm not in the UK.
Yeah.
I'm in the Eurozone.
Right.
That must be up to 22,000 euro or maybe 21,000 euro.
Yes,
that's quite a lot of money, right?
It's a lot of money.
Me tell you, to be honest with you, how many of the people, 95% of Africans living in the UK or living in the Eurozone, how many of them are taking a pay of 1,500 euro after deducting the taxes? That's quite a lot. I mean, that's quite a lot. So when you look at it, and then you pay the flat, you pay their mortgage or whatever they are, no, some of them who have cars or going with train and buses, is all money we're talking about, and the children. And let me tell you, the funny part of it is that even this woman want to take 18,000 pounds for the burial. But if you look down into it, you can see there are some, maybe she has children, one or two, probably they need a lot of support, which I believe. The schools today, a lot of parents are calling people online to educate their children or giving what is called a knack helper, we call it, like support in learning, right? So it's to invest that money in the education of the children. Or those who want to go to the university, even if they do what we call here apprenticeship, what we call Ausbildung in the part of the world I'm living, you have to still support those children. Save some money, driving license, the list goes on. What a hell, I ask again, what a hell, 18,000 pounds. And some people have already said in the audience, I think this woman is not truthful enough to her husband. I can't believe, I haven't been to that part of the world for so many years with my own reason best known to me. That's fine. But 18,000 pounds in Nigerian money, some are quoting millions. What the hell? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So my own opinion is that, I mean, you have done quite a lot educating these people, our people in this part of the world, to know how to use their wealth or their resources or their, I mean, they work for it. They work for it. And now she's going to take 18,000 pounds. The interest is coming on it. She can't pay it. What is going to happen? What's going to happen? A disaster. I mean, that's my own contribution. I mean, keep the good job you're doing. You have been trying quite a lot to educate every one of them. But the problem is that our people, this showing off, look at me, I'm in Europe, I'm in America, my father has died, I want to show the village who I am. This is a problem. If they're going to stop this, then there will be a way out. But if that mentality will keep on going, and by the way, who are these elders, or what they call omuna? To hell with this omuna. To hell with this omuna. I don't bloody care, you know? So because if you're going to listen to this omuna, and all the people in that village and whoever they call themselves, you're going to perish in depths. Some people cannot sleep anymore. And as I said, take-home pay is nothing to write home about as far as you're living in America or in Europe, because it's quite, well, when someone is saying at the end of the month, we call it the netto. That means what you get after deducting the taxes, 1,500 euro, you pay your flat, you pay this, you pay that, you pay that. And you can see the lifestyle here is quite expensive. And some people can't, I mean, you have said it many times. I don't need to repeat all what you have said. But the bottom line is that they have to change their mindset. This showing off of a thing, this going down there and doing the Yorubas, they call it Owambe, the Igbos call it Omuna, whatever, I don't know, the party around. This is bullshit. But anyway, thank you so much for your good job.
Thank you very much.
Keep on doing well. You're doing very good job. Thank you very much. And bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Emeka.
Oh, hi, Phrankleen.
Hi, what's going on, brother?
Good. So I'm just going to cut to the chase, not to waste, your time. I know you have other people that most likely want to talk to this. So I lost my dad in 2015. And
sorry to hear that.
So my dad was a chief.
Right.
My dad was a chief, and the burial involved lots of, let's say lots of money, So I would say I was fortunate enough because my dad had some money saved,
right?
But even after the burial, there were other things that that happened, that the elders, the umuna, like the other caller called it, they wanted some rights to be done, some other stuff to be done, and because I live in Canada, so basically they thought that I had money somewhere, so
so they tried to bill you.
Just to contribute to what to the topic, I think what the caller did is wrong, and if I were to be the husband, I wouldn't continue with the marriage, to be honest, because I think I can relate to the fears that he has regarding not trusting her and she being capable of doing something worse. I can understand that because if you're married and you have kids, and you have debts. You can't say you'll be the one to pay it. You're in a family. It's going to affect the husband as well. It's going to affect the kids, because money that you can put towards buying a home, money that you can put towards your kids' education, money that you can put towards retirement, money that you can put towards a business, you are basically going to spend most of your income paying that debt. So if you even want to calculate the interest on that money, it's going to run into about £6,000 or £5,000, something like that. So that's a lot of money that's a lot of debt, really. And she not being open to her husband. I think people in diaspora they have like issues in terms of, one, they want to show off, like the other caller said, they want to show off. And I think she's a very wicked person, irresponsible too, because she collected £2,000 in addition to what she borrowed, and then not opening up to the husband. So it wasn't about the father's burial. It was about her showing off. It wasn't the father's burial, to be honest, because you want to wear the best outfit. You want to, kind of like show off to your friends, people that you've never seen before, or you've never seen in a long time, rather. So I think number one, she wasn't honest. The trust wasn't there. I'm sure she has done something bad that the husband probably ignored. It's not something that just happened overnight, So to do that and not think about your family's future, that's you being very, very selfish. Very,
Let me ask you. Can I ask you a question quickly?
Sure.
So, these prevalent culture back home where, it's a very, very common, and I'm sure you know this, these culture of don't ask, don't question, whereby, especially if you're the firstborn, some people would put pressure on you, you must do it this way. And it's really affecting a lot of people. Yeah. What do you think is the way out for our people?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I didn't get that.
Yeah, I'm talking about the toxic culture back home. This culture of monetary extortion and imposition of money, and you must bring it, you must do it this way and stuff. What do you think is the way out for us?
Like, it's really, really difficult to talk about the way out, because like it's a rooted problem, like for example, when my dad died, they gave me a list that you have to do this, you have to do that, and that kind of stuff. So you either go against it and say, this is what you're going to do, and then you have so many forces fighting against you. And like, it's really, really, really challenging. Like in the Yoruba culture, in Igbo culture, like you have the umuna, you have this meeting that you have to, go to, and then you have to pay money to, to kind of like appease the umuna, and they have to say, prayer, for the dead and all that kind of stuff. So like, to be able to go away from that culture, to stop all those things, because it doesn't really make any sense. I would say, like, you have to bury the dead the way you want to bury the dead. You say this is what you want to do, and if they don't approve, that's their problem, because all they are looking for, like in the Igbo land, if someone dies, that's an opportunity for everyone to make money or to eat.
See,
that's an opportunity for everyone to make money. So they come up with very stupid demands, like, oh, you have to bring 20 crate of drinks, whatever. You have to bring this 5 goats, or that something stupid like that. I think the way forward, the way to go about it is basically, saying this is what you want to do and this is how you want to do it. Because once they get that perception that you have money, like, they really don't care. They don't care about you. They don't even care about the dead. They don't care. All they want is that money.
Yeah.
So you either not give them the impression that you have money, but once they know you, because they know they know your family, right? So they know if you have money or not. So they just make it very, very difficult for you. Even the priests wants money to say a prayer for the dead. The priest wants money. You know, when my dad died, they said, "Oh, my dad has not paid one dues, one something stupid like that." Okay, you paid money, and then him coming back. Oh, there's something else. They just kept coming up with some unnecessary bills, and it was just so stupid. And at one point, I actually yelled at the elders there, even the priest as well. I'm like, I can't continue doing this because I'm the first son of my dad. So
Yeah.
so you had to take on that responsibility and all that. So the way about it is basically to fight them that this is what is going to happen. They are going to fight back. They are going to fight back. But then if you have a group of other elders that are on your side, they can kind of like negotiate or mediate or kind of like, find a common ground to bury the dead. But it's very, very rooted. And I would say like it's really, really challenging if you have a reputation in that community.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, D.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Oh, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for having me on your platform. This is my first time coming to share my own opinion, and I've learned a whole lot from your broadcast.
Right.
Where can I start from? Well, I wouldn't approach the matter from the marital side. I'm just gonna hear my own opinion based on the observations that I've made, that I've actually seen within African culture. Like you said, we have toxic culture. And number one is we are not being assertive at all. Assertiveness is out of the window. Any kid that is assertive within African culture or in your parents' house, you're being told, oh yeah, you're arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Omo, kì í ṣe gbọlọtọ sí bàbá ẹ̀,
Thank you. You can say that again.
I mean, what I mean by that is that you don't grow extra wings to your parents. And I dish it out to my parents. I'm like, because you guys are like my parents, doesn't mean that we can't correct you. I basically sit down and correct my mother and father. I'm like, you know what? This is blatantly wrong. This is a toxic African culture. And one of also the toxic African culture is spending. Actually, no, would you pillow the 151? 50th birthday, you spend money. Ikomo, you spend money. What's it called? Burial, you spend money. Now let's now come about the burial. I remember then that my brother too. I'm actually the firstborn, and I have one other a younger brother I'm actually close to. And I remember then we both sat down as a family because we were all health orientated. We sat down as a family, and we actually did talk about end of life care for our parents. These are our parents that are still in 50s and 60s, and my over conservative and religious mom is like, I'm like, Mom, it's not until you die. It's not until you are 6 feet under. We were actually even talking about, okay, do you want your body cremated, or do you want your body donated to science? We don't talk about that. That's why people back at home, they end up saying,
if you tell your average Nigerian parent that you want their body cremated, oh my. just having the nerve to sit in front of them and say, Mom, should you die tomorrow, would you like us to cremate?
Oh, let me drop
That's
the
a whole other family meeting on it.
Man, well, we tell our parents, but we kids, we're no nonsense kids, and I think our parents actually kind of. So, actually, my dad has a different opinion, saying that, oh, you know what? He is in inclination that he wants to donate his body for science, and my mom is like, why? Like, why do you want to donate your body to science? I'm like, we had a whole huge argument. I'm like, Mom, this is his own body. Like, this is what he decides that he wants to do with his own body. These are just hard conversations. that I'm
Somebody,
just bringing.
sorry to cut you. I remember a gentleman told me this. He said he's like like on the NHS here in the UK, whereby he's on the organ donor list, right? I mean, it's not a must. You understand? So he said he was having a conversation with his his Nigerian mom
Same thing
and
with my
said,
mom.
"Mom, I put my name down on the organ donors list. You know, should I die tomorrow, they can use my organs to save someone else." And and he said to his mom, "Mom, would you like me to put you on the organs?" And the mother said, "Blood, blood of Jesus." Said it's demonic. It's, oh man, look, man.
And it's like we're afraid of death. And then to prepare for that, in order for you not to be afraid for death, you're not even preparing, you know? You're not preparing for those things. And another example that I actually want to give is that over here within the health sector, I mean, I work as a personal care assistant before, and even my mom works within the healthcare system as well. And I remember that when she was saying something that, man, she'll come on with those stories of her co-workers actually paying for their tombstone while they are working. Like, that actually blew my mind. I'm like, Africans, where are you guys at? No, responsibility handling. Like those kind of conversation, it needs to be like, we need to talk about them. I know this particular situation is for happened in Nigeria, but
It's
a lot of
it's
people
not even limited to Nigeria. You can hear some the Cameroonian sister that called earlier. It's everywhere, man. I have someone in my family. This is what I'm saying. Look, I mean, I'm black. I'm pro black. I'm pro Africa. I'm a Pan Africanist. Name any word you can use to classify me, right? But look, man, our minds. We just need to flush this mind and sort of
we need to decolonize our mind.
The mentality and the state of mind that's affecting us.
Yes.
And I told someone within my family, sorry to cut you, an elderly person. This is somebody who's elderly. And I said, you don't have any savings. You don't have any life insurance. You have nothing. You are clearly in the evening part of your life. You're very elderly.
Yeah.
Should you not wake up tomorrow morning, what do you think is going to happen in terms of wanting to bury you? And then this person to even be saying, "Oh, I don't want to be buried in the UK. I want my body transported back to Ijebu in Nigeria." And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Do you have an idea the thousands of pounds that would have to be spent just to take your body from point A to B? That's excluding the elaborate burial ceremony that you are clamoring for. Guess what the person told me?
They don't, Africans, they don't think about that.
Guess what she said? There's a lot of people that know me. So if my children refuse to give me a befitting burial, I know that other people that they will come to my aid, they will contribute, and they will bury me. I've never heard anything so shameful in my life. And I'm like, wow. So you want to leave this planet with that very and this person had the audacity to even say, if you don't give me a befitting burial, just know your children will do the same to you. And this is how they use emotional blackmail.
That's part of the narcissistic behavior. Every African, and what I say, I can only speak of Nigerian parents.
Yeah, go on.
I know how to dissect them very, very well. They are narcissistic and they are so toxic in nature. You can't even say something, right? You can't even say something, especially when it comes to what I say, emotional intelligence. You're telling them, "Oh, Dad, this is not the way to do things." Everything has to Everything has to be aggressive. Everything has to come from them. You dare not question things. And for me, moving forward, like you were saying something about how can Emeka learn to, would I say, speak up for herself or something along that line. And I think the very first thing is we have to decolonize our minds.
Of course.
And decolonizing our minds means that we have to decolonize our mind and say, okay, you know what? We need to learn about our own culture, because our parents will just come and just say, culture, it's like
that's not even our culture, man.
Exactly.
All of these things are just lies and filth that people have adopted. How can you be telling me, as an African man, as a true Oduduwa land? I mean, Oduduwa man from Oduduwa land, you are telling me where Yoruba culture, ni come and know Woloju Agbo. Sorry, you daru ni.
And they don't see it as,
who made this culture? Where? How is that our culture you have to go? If I want to support you, like say for example, you now you're doing something, and I say, okay, I'm going to, maybe you're getting married, right? I prefer, this is me now. I prefer, if I was your friend, I'm honored to be part of your special day, and you invite me, Phrankleen, to your wedding. If I want to give you a cash gift, like, my sister, this is X amount of money, I can put in an envelope or transfer it to your bank account, or if not, I can buy you a befitting gift and also bring myself to the occasion, right? Is that not good enough? So I have to come and dance and spray dollars to prove what? That I love you, I'm your good friend. So it's not good enough to have even bringing myself to your occasion and donate my time. It's not good enough. It's our culture to lavishly. Somebody's washing toilets abroad. You take your pound sterling, you break it down to the smallest American denomination in terms of notes, $1. For self-gratification, to make yourself feel good, you go to a Nigerian party on Saturday, you spray the $1 so that you can be seen on video as you're spraying the guy. The only winner is the guy, the musician who is singing and giving you a false sense of yourself, right? They pack all the money, they go. Monday morning, you're going back to washing toilets. A man said something to me before Christmas. Take, for example, one of the popular Fuji singers in Nigeria, whatever, right? Let's say Pasuma or someone. He was standing on the stage by himself with the microphone. There were nobody else in that hall, right? There's just a soundtrack. There's nobody to see me spraying money. Would you still be willing to spray money if there was nobody looking at you on that stage? Because I don't understand. But then, of course, some people will call me crazy. You can say whatever, man. But at least do this and do it with your chest, but don't call it Yoruba culture or an African culture, because it's not. I've lost that sister there. Let me bring on somebody. Should you mute your tomorrow morning? Miss, what do you think is going to happen in terms of wanting to bury you? And then this person. Please mute your background, all right? Hello. Hello. Hello, your tune. Festus.
Hello, good morning.
How are you, my brother? Go on.
I'm all right.
Please.
First, yes. Let me put this in context.
Yes, sir.
Now, I work in the bank for about 5 years before traveling to Australia.
Okay.
So I converted the money in Australian currency. It's about $32,515.50. That money actually can give you, is enough to do a down payment for a house here in Australia, if you're a permanent resident or a citizen. Depend on the location. A lot of persons are like blaming the lady. Let's look at it two-sided. A is it comes from start from this idea of a befitting burial. First of all, what do you mean by the word befitting burial? Somebody has died. Why giving somebody who is dead, somebody who people are grieving, and saying you're giving the person a befitting burial? The cost of normally doing a burial back home, like you want to bury somebody, is somewhere than 500,000. Buy a casket. People wear black. If you need to cook, maybe do some light refreshments, it's okay.
Thank you.
You know, but the challenge is because we want to like this idea of we want to impress people. Now, I lost my dad 2008. When I lost my dad, then I was I think I was just barely 18. So I know my father before my father died, we were like struggling to get some money to pay his medical bills and to get some money to pay his medical bills. And because of my father's condition, being in the hospital, I lost my admission that year.
Hey.
So I had like double loss. That was in December. Now the most amazing part was that when my father was in the hospital, nobody brought money. Immediately my father died, 14th December. Money started coming in. His sister said, okay, we're going to buy clothes. Before I could say Jack, they have already entered, already returned back from the main markets, coming with bags of clothes, you know, everything, money everywhere. But this was the same money that they couldn't spend on this man.
When he was alive?
Yes. Now, when he passed on, his brothers, because my father was a very caring person, they keep on telling me, don't worry, your father is a good man, will support you in school. Yeah. After the burial, till today, I didn't hear Jack from anybody. They just forgot about us. So this idea of trying to impress people, it makes no sense. Before this video, before we started this live video, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend back in Nigeria. So we were just like talking about the idea of building generational wealth, you know. So I was just telling her like some of my plans in the next 30 years. That, you know, one of the best ways of building wealth overseas is like having properties. Now, this money that we just converted now, this $32,000 in Australia, they will give you a down payment for a house. Why are you going to use to spend on a burial? Because we want to impress people. Now, this lady, probably one of the reasons why she did that, because she feel, oh, I'm like the firstborn, you know. If I don't bring out something, they'll say, auntie is not doing well, oh, auntie is in UK. Yeah, this is our father we're talking about, you know.
Yes.
So people feel that this impression of, okay, I need to like impress people. If you convert £2,000 to naira, that's almost £1 million naira at official exchange rates. I'm not talking about black market now. Official exchange rate, almost £1 million. It's enough to bury your father. But because some other persons around, you know, they need to take champagne, take some Hennessy. And you, what kind of job are you doing overseas? You're working as a cleaner, you're working as working in a restaurant, working as a salesperson. You take a lot of insult from people over here and they call you black sheep. You have to do all these things just to earn a pound. And you now earn the money, you go and lavish it somewhere. That's wastage.
Unfortunately, my brother, sorry to cut you. And you have, even amongst our people, you might be in an African restaurant, a bit of a social gathering, and you get people say things. So it's so funny though, because, you know, it's nice that I have this type of platform, but the way some of our people, even younger people with a very rigid mentality, black people, we have a long way to go, man. Some people will defend this toxicity with every fiber in their body and tell you, you know, like that statement. I love the statement that you used, befitting burial. Yes, if he wants to spend 10 million on his father's burial, he can spend it. And why? I'll tell you, since my time in the UK, right? From working in organizations over the years, or somehow you find yourself connected to like a white family or something, mostly work colleagues. This was years ago, right? Because of that, of work in this country, I've been privileged to attend about over the years, I think 2 or 3 white weddings. Whilst I acknowledge that there is a massive cultural difference between us and stuff, But the modesty in when they do their burials, you'll be shocked. I remember the first time I went to a white, family's burial. They had lost a member of their family. I think somebody's husband, and then a work colleague invited me then, and I attended. Bro, like as you know, everybody was dressed in black. Every, they brought the coffin, the church service, very, very brief. There was no long-wounded drama. People were called to the altar for eulogy. Everybody said what they had to say. Of course, you were allowed to express yourself. They wheeled the coffin back into the hearse, and we made our way to the cemetery. Everything was orderly, and they laid the body into the ground, sand to sand, dust to dust, the usual stuff. The vicar did the prayers, done and dusted. The cemetery within an hour or less, done. And they just, a member of the family, a very young lad, just came forward. Oh, there's a light, refreshment at so pub that they had booked, for that. And I remember going to the pub, bro. We were just, when you get into the pub, right? Of course, the bar was open, light, alcohol, sandwich. My brother, did you hear what I said? Right? Egg sandwich, tuna sandwich. I remember it was the first time I would go to white people's funeral. And the Nigerian in me at the time, this was years ago, I was like, I was looking at the table, I saw crisp, I saw sandwich, Scotch eggs, like a whole Scotch egg cut into 4 parts, and just tiny, tiny nibbles. And there were big kettles to make coffee and tea in case you want coffee or tea. Bro, people were just standing in groups of 3 and 4, hugging the family of the deceased. And after about 1-2 hours, there was a gentleman in the corner just quietly strumming a guitar. The speaker was not too loud, just playing some old school type of guitar classics and just singing, just to have a bit of a warm, relaxed atmosphere. 1-2 hours, done. People were like, all right, Mary, I'll give you a call later. All right, send my greetings to the children. Love you. Bye-bye. All right, see you later. And 2 in 3, people were disappearing. That point where even you yourself have to find your way very quickly. And I'm like, so I left, and I'm like, huh? That's it? And then I remember getting back to the office. The guy that invited me to the burial, he just, he saw me about 2 days later. Oh, thank you, man. Oh, thank you, Phrankleen. I owe you lunch, bro. And that's it. Life carried on. And I remember that hit me differently. Like, wow, bro, there was no bank breaking, no elaborate display of fabrics. Nobody trying to anybody shaking their breast and throwing money, acting crazy. None of that stuff, man. So does that mean, I'm just asking, does that mean those family, they're boring? They love the person that died, they love them less? What do you think about
it? I think it's based on people's it's based on people's beliefs and exposure. Exposure has another issue. I remember last year when I newly came into Australia, I was having a discussion with one of my clients. So she was asking me, he said, Festus, are you married? I said, no, I'm not married yet. I'm single, although I have a girlfriend in Nigeria that he said, then go bring her over. I said,
I can't hear you, bro. Your voice sounds low.
Can you hear me?
Better now. Go on.
Okay, so as I remember last year, I was having a conversation with one of my clients because I work as a social worker here. So she was asking me, Festus, are you married? I said, no, not at the moment, but I have a girlfriend back at home. She now said, oh, then it's important that you go bring her over. I said, I will in due time because of the cost of getting married. Then she asked me, this is a white Australian lady.
Yeah.
Like how much? I said like a minimum of 10,000 Australian dollars. Do you know what this woman asked me? She was in her 60s. She said $10,000. It's better being single then. That's what she told me. She said she better remain single. Why spend that much on a wedding? You know. So, but people back home don't have this kind of they don't see things that way. You know, that's why when I look at Africa, I really enjoyed the things you do on your show. You know, when I look at Africa, I see the reason why Africa will continue to be poor is because of our culture of excessive spending. And secondly, we want to like impress the world. Why are you impressing people? Those persons don't even like you. They say there's this irony. I remember reading this riddle growing up that there's this mistake we make on Christmas. We'll borrow money we don't have to impress people who don't like us just to buy things we don't need. You know, it's kind of unfortunate that.
Somebody showed me. They showed me a guy on the high street of London, in southeast London. True story. I don't know if you know this Nigerian musician, popular Fuji musician called Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, right?
No, I don't. I'm not really into music. No.
Yeah, well, yeah. Some people would probably know. Anyway, he sings Fuji. You know, you probably don't know because you're not Yoruba. So anyway, he one of those popular musicians who's been around for a few decades. Now, somebody was showing me a guy and said, "Oh, this man, he's basically broke now. He has nothing." And stuff. So why was this person? I don't know that man. I've never met him in my life, but that person was talking to me and was pointing and said, back when this guy had money in London, here in the UK, whenever Wasiu is playing, this guy used to spray Wasiu 50 pounds note, which is the biggest denomination of the monies here in the UK. And everybody, like 3 other people, were co-signing what that person was telling me, that you would literally, the whole party hall would come to a halt when this guy was spraying, whenever Wasiu came to the UK to perform, and this man would spray 50 pounds, and it could go on for like an hour with bales of money. Now, I didn't ask questions about how did he make his money and all that stuff, the ethical side of things. That's none of my business. But there was one thing that struck me. So this guy now, he's broke. This particular man they were talking about. So an incident happened. He went to Nigeria, not too long ago, about a year or so ago. And then I think the same Wasiu was performing at some party. So this man who is now broke, the only thing left is people that know him from yesteryears and just his name and stuff. So he managed to wriggle into this party. And he got on the stage. He was trying to high five this Wasiu musician, and this man got flung off the stage. He was rough handled. He was rough handled by the security guards one naughty at that, and he was trying to say to Wasiu, the musician, Emi ni UK, Timoma, Emi o mommy, it was like, you don't know me. Back in the days, they flung him out of the venue. Whilst the story made for a bit of a laugh in the moment, I'm being honest, there was a shock in my system, a personal lesson for me. There's a saying in Yoruba, nothing lasts forever, So you squandered your money. You didn't realize that the only winner in that moment is the guy you're spraying money. And it's the case for a lot of all these people that you go to parties, right? That you're spraying all this money lavishly. The only winner is the guy you're lavishly throwing that money at. If you like, spray a musician for the next 2 hours. He's taking all that money home. I cannot knock the musician because that's work for them. And they have to eat, they have to make money. And a lot of people like that, like you rightly said earlier, we have burnt resources. And you find the same people in our community defending it as our culture. And I keep arguing, it's not a culture to be proud of. Of course, I am aware I don't have any supernatural powers to stop anyone how they want to make their adult decisions, but at least some of us can use this kind of platform to encourage ourselves to do better. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your contribution, okay?
Thank you.
On that note, I am gonna have to wrap up. All right, I want to go and watch the Prince Harry and Meghan interview. It starts at 9 o'clock. It's 8:24 here in the UK now, so you'd appreciate. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry for the people backstage. Can't bring you on, but I hope to catch you in the next episode. Don't forget to email me at foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in the description below. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't, at Phrankleen, the way it's spelled on my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at Phrankleen, the way it's spelled on my YouTube channel. All right. And I will definitely, most definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, catch you in the very next one. Okay. Thank you to Common Sense Sisters and everyone that has contributed. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Peace and love.